questioning you, but this time I'd like to recognize Mr. Harris for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and I will direct my questions, earliest questions to Mr. Szabo. But, Mr. Upton, I just want to lead up that I read your testimony, and it says that you have sent an FOIA request to the Railroad Administration on December 2nd, 2010.
Yes, sir.
You still have not received a response?
We have not received. We asked for Mr. Dent himself and also Mr. Cardoza.
Now, Mr. Szabo, that's your shop, isn't it?
You bet it is.
Okay, now, the chairman had, you had suggested that, when someone wants to do their due diligence, they ought to come to you and ask for information. That was your testimony just 10 minutes ago, wasn't it?
It is.
Okay.
And if I may say for the record,
sir, it's my turn to ask the question.
Okay, please ask.
Your turn to answer.
I really want
I haven't asked the question yet. Is it true that Mr. Upton's group sent a request 1 year and 12 days ago, and your administration has been unresponsive to that request? That's a yes or no. You either responded...
The answer to that is no. Immediately, and in fact, the documents are publicly available on the website.
Sir, I asked the questions, you answer. You answered no. That's very disturbing. Because you're asking the people in the 1st Congressional District of Maryland to pay for this.
My answer no is that
I'm still asking the questions. That's disturbing to me because the citizens in my district are being asked to pay for it. In fact, what's interesting is you and I are the only ones between this panel and all the members here who actually don't come from California. But we're being asked to pay for it. Now, let me just ask a couple of pieces of your testimony. You said this was going to turn a profit day one. Sir, that's only in the way a person who works for the government can say turn a profit. Because, if this were a private enterprise, the capital expense would be included in whether or not you turn a profit. This is a yes or no question. When you say it turns a profit, does that include paying back the interest to China for the stimulus money borrowing that's going to go to the segments of that rail?
It's not an accurate question, sir.
Which part is inaccurate? Is that the capital expense we're talking about? The stimulus funding capital expense.
An operating profit.
I will go back.
Based on the way that these types of systems are judged across the world, which is the above rail cost, and is comparable to everything in Europe and Asia, it will generate an operating profit.
Thank you. But your testimony before was turn a profit. It didn't say turn. You didn't say turn an operating profit. I just want to make sure that the people, you see, because you're asking my citizens in my district to pay for that capital expense. So don't you think you ought to be more specific and say it's the operating profit? Because the people in my district are going to have to pay the part of the
value of the capital investment, but there is value to the people of the nation. Again, take it back to the delays. Take it back to the delays at the L.A. airport and the San Francisco airport.
Let me tell you something, sir. The people in the 1st Congressional District in Maryland very rarely travel through the San Francisco airport or the L.A. airport.
But it affects
they kind of stay near Salisbury and Baltimore, to be honest with you.
Congressman, it affects
let me keep on going.
Our nation. It's very important.
To get to the chairs, you said you're not going to flinch on the support. Now, we have evidence that the California voters kind of indicating they might be flinching on the support. In fact, I've got a polling, and I know it's just a poll, it's not an election, that suggests by a 2-to-1 margin, they actually might want to go back on that little $9 billion deal. If they flinch, let me just confirm this, if they flinch, because this was your answer to the chairman, you said that means that maybe we could retain some of that $3 billion that we have to borrow.
The $3 billion are fully obligated today. There is a cooperative agreement, and based on the terms of that cooperative agreement being met, we have a legal and binding obligation to continue to move forward. The worst thing you can do is try and lead by polls. There's no denying what the need of this project is for the people of California and how it affects the economy of our nation.
Well, sir, I'm going to suggest, I only have a few seconds left, I'm going to suggest that again, I'm sent here to speak for the people of the 1st Congressional District in Maryland. The cost of this project ultimately could be $70 billion transferred to the people of the United States. That's $300 for every man, woman, and child in my district. I bet if I take a poll, even though you don't believe polls, the average person in my district says, over my dead body, do I want to pay $300 in federal taxes and borrow that money to build a railroad to nowhere? Because that's the testimony. This first segment is truly, this is stunning. Only the federal government could plan to build this railroad and start it in the least populated area of the state. Furthermore, going back and saying, you know what, we're not only going to build it where we have existing infrastructure, we're going to build it somewhere else where apparently the local community doesn't want it, and the FRA, a branch of this government, doesn't even want to give the information to that local jurisdiction.
First off, sir, we made it available.
There's no question.
Publicly posted on the
All
Internet.
time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's publicly available
Okay, well,
information
all time
posted
is-
on the Internet.